Greetings, everybody. This is part 2, the second video in the Oral Communication Strategies video pair. In the last video, I talked about presentation as a composition. In this video, I'm going to be talking about presentation as a performance. I'll be talking about some of the advantages of oral presentations, so that's over written compositions. Oral presentations are different from written documents, and I'll be explaining what the benefits of those are. I'll be talking about the importance of relaxing, breathing, and articulating during your presentation. I'll explain prepared extemporaneousness and the advantage of using notes. And I'll also talk about having a confident presentation presence. Lastly, I'll explain some tips. I'll give some tips for presentations that are done in teams and the advantages of having group flow. So, advantages of oral presentations. One of the main advantages of an oral presentation over a written document is that personal factor of the presentation that's in a video or in a live presentation format. It can be more conversational, and there's a multi-dimensional kind of impact to the communication. That means there aren't just words or pictures on a page, but there's sort of a three-dimensional personality happening. You've got gestures, potentially you've got your tone of voice that you can use. You can emphasize specific points with your tone. You can add variety so that it's clear not just from your visual organization, but also from your oral, the tone that you have when you are shifting gears in a presentation, making a transition, for example. If it is an in-person presentation, then you've got the advantage of observation, of observing the audience and finding out, oh, does it seem like they're engaging? Does it seem like they're understanding this point? And based on what you gather from that observation, you could perhaps immediately respond. You could answer questions, for example. If your presentation is in the form of a video, like it will be for ECE Senior Design and the progress updates, progress reports, you'll have the advantage of retakes of your video. So this is an important assignment. You'll want to be sure and get it right. And if you mess up, you can go back and erase it and do another take. And then you also have the advantage in the video format of making sure that your audience understands key points because they're going to be able to go back and watch again. So presence is one of the important factors for making a video effective. As a presenter, it's going to be important for you to remember to breathe. It may seem obvious, but especially presenters who are less experienced tend to go really fast and want to get it all over with, and sometimes they don't breathe, and this creates an air of anxiety and tension, and it makes the presentation harder to watch. So think about it. Breathe. You probably want to slow down. Most presenters who are less experienced also have the tendency to want to speak really quickly. This goes for English language learners as well as those who have English as a first language. It's just a tendency when we're nervous to want to speak quickly. So be aware of that and take some conscious measures perhaps to relax. You might do some relaxation exercises, whatever you like to do, some stretching perhaps. There are some good tips in your book, Engineering Communication, in Chapter 9 for relaxing before your presentation. So you might want to check that out. And then be sure to speak deliberately. This has to do with clear articulation. Speaking more slowly will also help this, but be aware that you're going to have a variety of different viewers, and it will increase the probability that everybody understands you if you articulate and spend time making sure that your words are formed deliberately. Also know that you're communicating not just the words that you're saying, but since your audience can hear your tone, for example, and see your gestures and your facial expressions, you're also communicating thoughts and feelings. So you're going to want to be aware of that and gather and collect yourself. And preparation also helps for you to feel confident, and then you can express that confidence in your presentation and create a presence that is easeful, and you'll inspire confidence in your audience as well. Prepared extemporaneousness. I really just like this term. So basically what this means is you're preparing, but you're making it seem like the information is extemporaneous, or it's happening as it comes out, right? It's not all rote and prepared. There's a lightness to it, an air of conversationalism. Mark Twain said it usually takes more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. So this really gets at the fact that in order to seem like everything's easy and it's flowing well, there actually is a lot of preparation that needs to go into that. Ways that you can increase your sense of ease and preparedness. Practice out loud. It may be something that you're reluctant to do, but trust me, it'll help a lot. Prepare notes to give yourself organizational cues with key points, but be careful with your notes. Don't read directly from the notes, and this adds to that impromptu air, right? You don't want to just be reading. That takes away from that conversational aspect. You should create your notes, and that's going to help you practice your talking points, just the action of creating your notes. And then you may not even have to go back and consult them, but they will be there for you to give you cues about the organization of your speech if you need them. But don't plan on reading your note card, reading straight off your note card during your presentation. You could also include notes, by the way, in the notes area in PowerPoint. There's a place for presentation notes there. In addition, don't use monotone speech. Okay, that kind of goes along with just reading off of a note card. Normally when somebody's just reading off a note card, they tend to speak really in a monotone way, or if they're nervous, they tend to. So don't do that. That's not interesting. That tends to put people to sleep. Use your advantage of being able to vary your tone and create an easeful, lively atmosphere for your viewers. Show your confidence. You may not feel extremely confident. You may not have a lot of experience as a presenter. That's fine. You may have heard of the phrase, fake it till you make it. Act confident, even if you're not confident, and then surely you'll feel more confident as you're just acting confident. Okay, so if you're not feeling confident, fake feeling confident. That'll work too. You might imagine that a friend is in the audience cheering you on. That could work. Take a good position, and that means physically in front of your audience. So decide, if you're in a team, for example, how your teammates want to arrange themselves. Decide where you'll need to be going in terms of within the video frame if you're making a video, and then get comfortable where you are and know how you're going to occupy the space. And then you'll present yourself as comfortable in space, and that's something that your audience will appreciate. Make eye contact. That's either with the camera or if you're in person with the in-person audience. That's also going to convey confidence. And then don't forget your facial expressions, because the audience can see you. So be sure that your facial expressions go along with the points that you want to make or the tone that you want to have. I also want to talk about group flow. And this is specifically for presentations that are created in teams. So in teams, it's going to be important to define a goal for the presentation. This goes along with the purpose defining process. But having a common goal and communicating with each other about it at each stage in the process is going to help your presentation have a more unified and focused aspect to it. Always listen to your group members like it was the first time that they are saying whatever information it is that they're presenting. So you may have, hopefully you will have practiced your presentation several times, but during the presentation, as your group members are talking, really listen to them as if you had not heard that information before. Be interested, be focused. This goes along with the next point, point number 3, don't lose concentration. Just because you've heard the information before and you've practiced the presentation, perhaps you know what's going to happen, don't let that be an excuse for you to, okay, my group member's going now, so I guess I can look off into the air. No, stay concentrated, stay a part of the presentation, even if you're not the one talking at a particular time. Create a balance of control between all of the group members and responsibilities. Of course, be sure to respect each other. That's going to show in your presentation as well. And everybody having that responsibility or authority will help strengthen the credibility of the whole group, right, rather than just having everybody defer to one person. Number 5, know each other's styles and respond positively. Practicing together is going to help with this. And just being aware of a positive response will help with group flow as well. So have a positive response to your group members. And then rehearse and practice, discuss strengths and weaknesses, and then be willing to do retakes. So this goes along a bit with just having an awareness, right? In your group, you should always be having an awareness and that reflective role. And so take that reflective role on as you're doing your presentations and be willing to identify strengths, weaknesses, and redo the video if necessary. So finally, this is my takeaway for this presentation. I want you guys to remember that oral presentations can have that personal dimension. It's a particular type of communication, so be sure to take advantage of the conversational aspect of the oral presentation. Make a good impression. Be relaxed in your presentation video. Be professional. Create a good group dynamic and portray confidence. This takes practice. And then you also want to make sure there's a balance within your group of responsibility, authority, and respect. What you want the audience to remember and do once they've seen your presentation. That's what Richard Reich said. So that's that key idea or takeaway that I'm leaving you with. All right, good luck on your presentations, and I'm looking forward to seeing them.